All right, all of that initial prep stuff went very, very well. Just did a few minor changes. Now, the only thing that I didn't check when I was doing the settings was the OptiStitch settings. Now, you guys, here is my best recommendation for OptiStitch, and this really goes to whatever machine you're using. I like to go into my customization area of my OptiStitch, and I like to just go ahead and bring both of the acceleration and the speed kind of into the middle zone. Then I'll do some stitching with my Pro Stitcher. I'll see how the machine reacts, and I can just bump either one of them up or I can bump either one of them down. And it sometimes depends on what you're stitching, right? So right now I just went into the OptiStitch area. I clicked on customization, and I'm just going to bring both of my slide bars kind of down into the middle area. Okay, now obviously I booted this up, turned the tablet on, so my gears for my Pro Stitcher are engaged. But the very first thing that I always like to do is a little bit of free motion. Now, y'all know, or hopefully you know, I am not good at free motion, but I'm going to just disengage the gears and I'm going to try a little bit of free motion just so that I can get the feel of the machine, make sure she's stitching all right and everything in free motion. Now, I did do a practice piece of fabric here, and one thing that was very, very good, a very good indicator that this machine is just golden, and especially with that ballpoint needle in, is that I did some channel locking to get this piece of fabric nice and anchored down, and I did the right to left channel lock with no thread shredding, no problems, nothing, okay? The tension on that initial channel lock looks really good, but I do want to do the free motion, and then we'll do some Pro Stitcher work, and I will check it out. Now, I'm here by myself today. I only have the phone as the camera today, so I have a little device here at the machine. I'm going to bring you in. I won't have probably as good of audio as I do that, but I'd rather you see what's happening at the needle. So let me pull you on in, and let's get some free motion stitching done. Okay, I will talk you through what I'm doing up on the screen because you can only see one thing at a time here. I'm going up onto my Pro Stitcher menu panel, and I am disengaging the gears. My crosshairs are now purple. That means I'm in free motion. Now what I'm doing is I'm going into my console area and I'm switching to needle down. I am in regulated mode, 12 stitches per inch, and I am on the cruise setting right now. I think to start with in my practice mode, I will switch over to precision. And that just means if I am not moving, the needle will not move, but I don't have to shut the machine off. Okay, here we go. Okay, I better stop before I start talking. Wow, she feels awesome. I'm just gonna take a quick second and feel and look underneath. All right, I think it looks really good. Now, just as I mentioned looking underneath, we do not have the underside camera hooked up on this Infinity. When we go to install for Cindy, we'll ask her if she wants that installed, but for testing purposes, I didn't want to damage anything. No need to really attach it just for this stitch out. But you guys, it's just glorious. It looks beautiful. This golden thread is what I have chosen for that other quilt. I have the same color top and bottom. That is always my recommendation, or as close to the same color as possible. I'm looking at my points. That was in precision. They look great. I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to cruise mode. I am now 12 stitches per inch regulated. My cruise setting for this Infinity is on 250, and let's do a little bit more stitching. Oh yeah, it looks really, really good, you guys. As mentioned, I really did not change the tension on the machine. Right now it's on number 48. Just always keep in mind, you guys, if you have tension readouts on your machine, it doesn't mean that your infinity would be 48, just like Cindy's infinity right now is reading 48 on the tension panel. It just felt really, really great coming out of the box. She sounds great. The tension looks great. I'm not so sure my free motion looks great, but that's okay, because you know what we're gonna do now? We are gonna do some Pro Stitcher. All right, so I didn't capture it on video just now. I kind of forgot to hit the start button, but what I wanted to mention is I just tested out Cindy's thread cutter here on the Infinity. You know, on my machine, I really don't use that function that often, but I of course wanted to make sure it worked on Cindy's machine. It did. And so if you want that added benefit of a thread cutter, you gotta go up to a Handi Quilter Infinity. All right. Let me see if I can hit a little screen capture for you. Okay, quick before I move on, I didn't record it, but I did go into the Pro Stitcher menu, hit the gears button, and we're back to the orange crosshairs. All right, when we test out Pro Stitcher, we like to do a variety of designs. And I just opened up a design that has both straight lines and it's kind of a circular pattern. It's 6 inches tall. I'm just using my crosshairs now to make sure that I'm not gonna hit anything. I think I'm just gonna nudge it over a little bit so that it doesn't hit what I've already stitched. And we are just gonna test out this pattern with a little bit of straight lines in it and see how the machine handles it. Take a look also, if you would, at my OptiStitch settings. Wow, this machine is glorious, if I do say so myself. I am actually gonna pop down the acceleration just a little bit and maybe 1 notch down on the speed. You guys, here's what I will say about speed and acceleration. With the Handi Quilter, this is the biggest, fastest machine that Handi Quilter makes. I like to stitch fast, okay? So I do push my machine to stitch as fast as I can, but the thing about it that I always pay attention to is I will go as fast as I can without compromising stitch quality or tension. It looks fine. I'm just kind of looking at my points. They may be pulling to the top just a little bit. So, okay, they are just pulling ever so slightly on the top. I'm gonna go ahead and bring down my top tension a little bit. If that continues, I will tighten up my bottom tension a little bit. Just to review, I am in 250 on the cruise setting, okay? And let's continue on. All right, it looks pretty good. Since I'm recording now, let's try that thread cutter. I did assign that function to the left-hand handlebar. Hopefully you can hear that. It beeped. I heard it cut there on the bottom. I am going to take a second off camera and I am going to tighten my bottom tension just ever so slightly, and I'll meet you right back here and let's stitch out something a little bit more curvy.